Hey guys, welcome back to Be Real with Jody. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about something that literally shapes your entire life, and it's the power of your thoughts. And before you turn me off and just think, oh, she's going to tell me to think positive, here's the truth. So many people think that the world is just happening to them, right? Like, I feel bad because people were rude to me or left me out, or I'm stressed because my teachers are putting all this, homework on me or whatever. Like, we just live our life at the effect of what's happening to us. But the truth is, this is the best thing that I'm going to tell you, okay? The way you feel comes from what you're thinking. So I know it sounds so simple, but it's actually true. So, when you understand this, your entire life will change. And this is what I'm going to tell you. Every thought that you think is not a fact. And also, it's not even true. So, what I'm going to work with you on, this is like going to change your life. Once you realize that not all of your thoughts are you, you can become like a watcher of your thoughts. It's like I'm sitting here watching myself think, and I can like look at it and not be like, don't think that, Jody, that's so negative. No, just like watching myself think and seeing how I'm literally creating my life by what I'm thinking. So the truth is, all of us have about 60,000 thoughts a day. Is that crazy? And we don't even, most of us don't even realize that we are thinking. It's just like this constant, like repeating narrative. And that's the funny thing. Most of the thoughts that we have, it's like when we're not intentionally choosing what we think, we're just on autopilot. So our brain just like tells us what to think. And then most of them are repetitive thoughts. The other thing about them is they're mostly negative, which is crazy. We're like, why? Well, here's the truth. Our brains are wired for survival. So back in caveman days, there was literally, if you didn't like sleep with one eye open and be really stressed and worried, you would literally be eaten by tigers. So we had to be on alert. So our brains are wired for things that are going to come out and get us. But we don't really live among tigers these days, but our brain thinks things like failing our test or being embarrassed or not having friends are tigers. And so our brain is just constantly looking. What is a threat? How am I going to keep myself safe? Even though it's like the truth is, no matter what happens, we will be safe. Our brain is wired to look for what's negative. So I've told you this before, but if you have negative thoughts, there's nothing wrong with you. That's what your brain's supposed to do. It's like, welcome to being a normal human being. That's normal and 100% fine. But where we get into trouble is when we're on a repetitive loop of negativity and we just think we are like a victim. We become a victim of our life. Like, I can't be happy because no one will do what I want them to do. And that's the most disempowering place to be. And so that's why I'm going to teach you something that changed my life way past my teenage years. And if you could learn this, your entire life will change. So we're going to talk about this. So we're going to talk about the model. And I brought this up one other time, but if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it here. If you're not, I'm going to explain it to you. You could look it up on YouTube. So just be real with Jody on YouTube. Okay. So the things that happen to us in our lives, they're just circumstances. So they're not good or bad. They're just neutral, which is crazy to think about. You're like, no, actually, when I fail my test, that's negative, right? And I'm like, maybe. I mean, the truth is, it's like if it's a fact, then it's not good or bad. It's just a fact. It's just neutral. And when we put circumstances in this line, we want it to be like we could prove it in a court of law. We're not like, it's a beautiful day outside. We're just like, it's 72 degrees outside. So it's just going to be neutral facts right here. We're not going to say, I feel terrible about myself right here. It's like today I got in a car accident on this street. Like these are the facts, okay? Once you have a circumstance, when something happens, what happens before we even know it is our brains trigger a thought, okay? That's normal. So our brain interpret the circumstance and we have thoughts about it, okay? And here's the truth. We're going to go through a scenario in a minute, but like some people could have the same circumstance and think something good about it, and some people would think something bad. So circumstances create our thoughts. We have a thought about it, okay? Once we have a thought, it creates our feelings. So this is the biggest deal, you guys. Your feelings come from what you're thinking. All the time I even feel like I'm stressed because people aren't listening to me. I'm overwhelmed because I have so much to do. No, I'm not overwhelmed because I have so much to do. I'm overwhelmed because I think I shouldn't, or I think I'm not able to get it done. Do you see what I mean? Like someone could have the same list of to-dos as me, but they're just like, oh yeah, that's easy. So it's like, it's not the things I have to do that are making me overwhelmed. It's my thought about it that I should have more time or that I don't have enough time, right? That's the what's creating the feeling, the thought. Okay? Good to know. Okay? This is and it's like, okay, well then you're saying the reason I feel that is because of me. Like I'm the problem. Just make you think of a song. Yeah, you're the problem, but that's great news because if you're the reason you're feeling negative in whatever way, then you get to change it. You don't have to wait for other people to change for you to feel better. So this is why this is the best news. So we're keeping going. So our thoughts create our feelings, right? Our feelings drive our actions. So our actions are the things that we're doing or we're not doing. So when we have a feeling, when you feel excited, what do you do? What do you not do? When you feel depressed, what do you do? What do you not do? Right? So you have a feeling that came from your thought. And that is like putting gas in your car. It's like I put depressed gas in your car. What are you going to do? Sit on your phone, not talk to anybody, cry, be sad, right? Yeah, that's what happens. This is just how it works, you guys. I didn't make this up. This is just how the world works, okay? So you have a feeling, it creates what you do or not do, your actions. And then your actions create the experience of your life. So it's like the way you're acting will create what's happening for you. And what the truth is, our results always prove our thought true. So we're gonna have a real scenario right here. Okay. So if you can see this on YouTube, great. If you can't, I'm gonna explain it to you. So our first circumstance is gonna be I got a C on my math test. Okay. It's just a fact. I got a C on my math test. We're not like, this is terrible. I'm so dumb or anything. It's just like a C. The truth is, some people will be like, yes, I'm so glad I got a C. I thought I was going to fail. And some people will be like, a C? Are you kidding? I'm going to get in so much trouble. This is terrible, right? So the C on the math test does not create frustration. The C on the math test is just neutral until I have a thought about it. So when I say, so pretend like this is you, okay? You got a C on your math test and your thought is, I'm so stupid. I'm never going to be good at math, right? I don't know if you've ever thought that. I've thought that before. Like, I'm never going to get this. This is way too hard for me, right? I'm not good at math, right? I don't know how many times I told myself that. I'm not good at math, right? Like it's just a fact. Like, could you test my blood and be like, yep, you're positive for not good at math? No, but it's just my thought, right? It's my thought based on my grade. My grade is just neutral until I have a thought about it. So if I'm thinking I'm so stupid, I'll never be good at math, that's going to create frustration, right? That's where the frustration comes, not the C on the math test. It's from the thought. So once you're feeling frustrated, it's like I put frustrated gas in your car. What are you going to do when you're frustrated about math? Are you going to like study and prepare and work hard and be positive? No. When you're frustrated, you're going to not try as hard. You're probably not going to ask for help. You're probably going to be embarrassed to ask for help. You're probably going to be like telling yourself mean stuff like you're so dumb, you're never going to get this, right? So if I'm saying, if I don't try as hard, I don't ask for help, I mean to myself, what do I create? I literally create and prove myself right. So my grade probably stays low and I reinforce my thought and I literally prove myself right. Yep. See, I'm never going to be good at math. So you're like, well, it seems like that's just true, right? But here's the thing. Like, you don't actually have to think this. It's okay if you do. We're not going to be mad about it. We're not going to beat ourselves up. We're not going to be like, don't think that. We're just going to be like, oh, I see it. This is literally like math. When I put this thought in this equation, I create exactly what I'm thinking. When I tell myself I'm stupid and I'm never going to get it, I'm going to feel a certain feeling, sad, worried, depressed, frustrated. Then I'm going to act like that. And I'm not going to improve it. And then I'm going to make it true. And I'm going to be like, yep, see, this is just a fact. Right? Okay. So if this is happening for you, whatever scenario you're thinking, you can put any scenario in this, you guys, any scenario. It doesn't even matter what it is. And this is what I do one-on-one with all my clients. We take their actual life, things that are actually happening in their life, like no one asked me to sit at their lunch table, like my coach yelled at me at practice, or I have no friends, or I feel anxious every time I go to work. Like so many actual scenarios. We can put anything in the C line and we can walk it out and we figure out, okay, what am I thinking that's causing me to feel this way? And then once I feel this way, this is what I do. And then this is what I create. So good to know. We're not going to be mad about it. We're not going to be annoyed with ourselves. We're going to be like, huh, makes sense, right? But like, what if you didn't have to just live your life at the effect of your thoughts? What if you could actually choose on purpose what to think? Like if I would have learned this when I was like a freshman in high school, they should teach you this in high school, you guys. They should actually sit you down and be like, you know what? Instead of math today, we're going to learn about how you are creating your life with your thoughts. And you could have a completely different life if you want to. And nobody else has to change. So here's what we're going to do the same thing, okay? So again, the circumstance, we're going to still have a C on our math test. It's not like all of a sudden we got really smart or our teacher got really easy and curved our grade and now we can be happy. No, we still got a C on our math test, okay? But this is how I start. Sometimes I don't know what I want to think, but I know how I want to feel. So I'm like, okay, how do I want to feel about the C on my math test? I know I don't want to feel frustrated. What do I want to feel? Well, I kind of want to feel determined. Like this isn't just a fact that I'm terrible at math. Like, if I was going to feel determined, what would I have to think? And this is where it gets tricky, you guys. We can't just think like, I'm the best at math. Like, I'm a genius at math. Your brain's going to be like, you're serious? That's not true. And it's not going to work. You can't just positive think your way through it. What you can do is find a believable thought that you actually believe is true that helps you feel how you want to feel. So that's why we just try on thoughts, okay? It's like you're going to pick out some new shoes, okay? And you try these on, you're like, oh, I don't know, those are too small, too big, those are uncomfortable. Oh, these are the ones. These are the shoes I love, okay? I feel good in them. They feel good to me. Let's go, okay? That's how we try with thoughts. We just like throw them out there until we find one you actually believe that helps you feel how you want to feel. So if I want to feel determined, this is what I came up with. Like, this is just feedback. Feedback meaning like it's not, this doesn't determine my worth. This doesn't determine if I'm smart or dumb. This literally only just tells me, oh, these specific, math equations, at this level, like a C level. Good to know. So this is just feedback, not who I am, and I can improve. Like, is that true? Yes, it's literally feedback. It doesn't determine who I am, and it is possible for me to improve. So when I think that thought, it's going to give me a different feeling. It's going to give me a determined feeling like, listen, this is not just set in stone that I suck at math and I'm forever doomed and my teachers are mean and I forget it. I'm not going to college. You know what I mean? You know how your brain kind of does that? Like, I'm never going to get this, right? No, it's like, calm down. Okay. Here's the truth. This is just feedback. It's not who I am. I can improve. Then I can feel determined. When I put determined gas in your car, you're going to act a lot different. You might ask more questions. You're going to be talking nicer to yourself. You're going to be like, you can do this. Let's go, right? You're going to be trying some new techniques. Maybe you find some videos to watch. Hey, this is my best trick, you guys. If your teacher can't explain it to you, how you can understand, you guys are so lucky. You have YouTube. Look it up. But there's awesome teachers on YouTube. They can teach it to you and you can watch it over and over and over till you understand it. Find someone who can explain it to you. That is the best news, okay? You don't have to just be like, well, my teacher's terrible. I don't know what to do. No, you can literally look it up, okay? So find some new techniques. Maybe you're not being embarrassed to ask for help because you're not deciding that you're dumb. You're just like, hey, this is just a test. It's just determined what I know today. Doesn't mean I can't learn it, right? So let's just look at it. If you're asking questions and you're being nice to yourself, you're trying some new techniques, you're not embarrassed to ask for help, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, we don't know for a fact. It's not like we're like, oh, yes, this is how you get 100%. But if I had to guess, your grades are most likely going to improve. If you're trying new things and asking questions and being kind to yourself, your grade will most likely improve. So the truth is, same thing. You prove your thought true. Your result will prove your thought true every single time. And this is the best news because your thoughts are optional. You can choose them on purpose. You don't have to just listen to your brain when it goes into like a negative thought loop, right? So here's what I want you to do this week. Watch yourself think. Pay attention to what you're thinking, not from a don't be negative standpoint. Just think, okay, I see myself. I see this happening and I see what I'm thinking, right? And notice what's happening? What am I thinking about? And then think to yourself, is this helping me? Is this thought telling myself I'm dumb? Is that helping me? Is it serving me? Does it help me feel confident or strong or help me do better? Well, do I want to keep that thought? Like, probably not, right? So it's like, okay, if I want to feel better, not everybody else has to change. I just need to choose a thought I actually believe. And I want to choose a thought that will help me create the result I want, right? So, what you're going to do is you're going to start practicing new thoughts, okay? It's like pretend if you had there was like some water and there was like a ditch and the water's been going to the right for a really long time, okay? But we want it to go to the left, right? How are we going to get it to go? Are we just going to like try one time and then it'll go? No. Are we just gonna like dig a tiny bit? No, we're gonna have to dig a ditch. We might get our foot. We're gonna just like pull out the dirt, right? Move the rocks, and then the water that will eventually start going the way we want it to, right? But sometimes it might go back the other way because it's done that for a long time, right? So, but then we're like, oh, it's okay. It's okay that it did that, but we're gonna go over here now. Okay. So that's what's gonna happen with when you try to choose new thoughts. Your brain has been thinking the repetitive thoughts for so long it's okay if it keeps doing it, but we're gonna redirect our brain. We're gonna be like, what else could be true, right? Could it also be true that I can do whatever I want to do, that I can learn anything I want to learn? That could be true. What would I have to do, right? So this week I want you to write it down. Then ask yourself, what else could be true? Like if you're having a negative thought, ask yourself, what else could be true? It could be true that I do have friends. I just need to go find them. Or I need to find the people that I actually like. Like, ask yourself when you have a negative thought, say, what else could be true? And then practice a new thought. Every time that negative one pops up, you're just going to practice it. You're not going to be mad, like, oh, I'm never going to get this. I'm so negative. No, you're just going to be like, it's like you're typing a paper, okay? You're typing a paper and you've been writing this paper like this for a long time, but so your fingers, they just type the same thing. But then you're like, oh yeah, we don't actually say that to ourselves anymore. We don't actually try to hate ourselves better. We don't try to be mean to ourselves and try to get better because that literally will never work. You cannot hate yourself better. So when the thought comes, it's like you're pushing backspace. You're like, delete, delete, delete. I'm not doing that anymore. Okay. So we're not mad that it happened. We're just gonna, oh yeah, okay, well, we don't do that anymore. So what would I have to think on purpose? Like, this is not who I am. I can do whatever I want. I'm loved no matter what. I'm doing a great job, right? Practice your thoughts. Your thoughts are the most powerful tool you have to create the life that you want. And when you learn to watch yourself think and create the thoughts that you want, you're going to actually create the life that you want because it's just how it works. If you want a certain result in your life, you have to be thinking a thought that will help you create that. So we're going to keep talking about this. If you want more help with this, it's like, okay, it might feel confusing when I'm talking to you about it, and it's hard to actually apply in your own life, but this is how you're going to start. You're just going to start with a fact, and you're going to say, this is what I'm thinking that's causing my feelings, and this is what I'm doing, and this is what it's creating. Well, okay, do I want to keep doing that? Maybe not. How do I want to feel? And what would I have to think in order to create the feeling that I want? When we have it's like if I gave you determined, excited, calm, confident gas to put in your car, what could you create? All you need to get that feeling is to think a thought you actually believe. Okay, thanks for staying with me. You guys are amazing. Keep up the good work. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave a comment. Share this with one of your friends if it's helped you. I hope you have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll talk to you next week.